Good way to start it off.
How you doing, you fucking bitch?
You
Are we
bench?
doing Italian stereotypes? Is that
No, we're just doing violence.
What are you talking about? This is my voice. Hey.
Hi, Darren. I'm Nick. I'm the sound guy.
Hello, I'm Darren.
Nice to meet you. All right, so I'm gonna need you to, in 1 sec. Okay, can you just clap as loud as you can?
Are you recording, Darren?
I am now recording.
Okay, go ahead and clap. All right, one more.
All right, we're done.
Yeah, that was it. Thanks, dude. Thanks for being on.
Thanks for your time.
That was easier than I thought.
Darren, you can hear us okay, yeah?
Yep.
Cool.
Is there any echo from me? Darren, can you just talk, like give a monologue real quick? Because I have over-ear headphones. I just want to make sure I'm not bleeding out.
Hello, this is my monologue. I didn't really have time to prepare it, but I'd like to thank you all for coming here to listen to me.
Good.
Yeah, I think we're all right.
That was really good, Darren.
I've been practicing. That's my award speech,
Oh, wow.
just in case.
I didn't really have time
What do
to...
you got going on today, Darren?
Today,
Yeah, what are you doing?
it's just this.
Ooh,
This is us.
this is an important.
I mean,
I'm marathoning.
Yeah,
this
he's
as well.
binging This Is Us today.
wait, like, I don't know if you realize, but we didn't have the most definite timeline, so I was just like,
Yeah. No, I
this
was
is the
aware of
one
that.
thing.
I think the bracket we gave you was at some point between 12 p.m. and 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Well, it was 1 p.m. and 7 p.m.
Whatever. You know how
1 p.m. and TBD, just for
Do you
all eternity.
Do you know how like you have a life? Just stop that for about 9
Oh no,
hours.
I don't
Yeah.
actually. So that it wasn't an issue. I didn't cancel anything.
Yeah, I mean, he was just watching This Is Us, so he's.
But wouldn't it have been
he's got
worse
something to do.
if we like just assumed that we were like, you know what, Darren has nothing to do.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. It'll
when
be
I
fine.
when I book this, that's what I assume. I assume nobody is doing anything.
Right.
So I don't know. So I can get
In
mad. at
in
them
my
when they-
case,
when
you
they
are
do.
absolutely correct.
Wow.
How is This Is Us?
I wouldn't know.
Wait. Oh, that was okay.
That was a bit.
That was a bit. I understand. I thought you just
Literally the most I've heard about This Is Us is just listening to your last episode
Yeah.
a little while ago.
That's what I thought. Like after the episode, Dom was like, Tim, I don't think Love Simon has anything to do with This Is Us.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I think the showrunners are connected. Did you think that I meant literally like
No.
like they share a universe?
No, that
Please.
I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, it's not like they're that far off or whatever. But no,
There's
I
something
just
very funny about
forgot.
like, just mundane drama.
Being
Sharing a universe.
interconnected.
Like, yeah,
Some of my
Takes
favorite
place in
theories
the
are
same
just
world,
universes.
Yeah, I got real hooked on that idea like around. I guess it was probably after the first Avengers and every like indie drama that I saw that came out. You imagine fucking, I don't know, some fucking manic pixie dream girl comes out from the shadows when the guy comes home and she's like, "You think you're the only struggling drunk with a family?"
Mm-hmm.
Come on now, that's a fucking piping hot joke.
What's the one where never mind.
No good. No thanks.
Fucking
I remember
Steve
that one.
Carell lays on the pancakes. What's that one?
Oh, Dan
Life
and Real
Dave?
Pancakes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's the only indie drama that I care about because I remember I'm like, oh wow, those pancakes look good.
Pancakes in real life. Yeah.
It's all about the quality of the breakfast food they show, honestly.
That is a very stark poster. Like I remember that poster.
It's like, why could he be laying on pancakes? What could have happened to this fella?
Yeah.
Turns out, yeah, pretty
that-
middle of the road drama.
Is that even in the
was
movie?
was that his first turn into a serious actor?
He
I
might have
don't
been in
know.
whatchamacallit before that.
Yeah, whatchamacallit was an interesting one.
We're
Sun.
good at naming these.
The Sun
Real
Girl.
solid.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Was he actually in that?
Sun
I haven't seen it.
Girl.
Yeah, he was in that, wasn't he? He was like the gay fish.
I haven't seen it, so I couldn't tell you.
Hang on.
Darren, do you genuinely think when I just said gay fish that was actually a thing
No,
in Little
no,
Miss
I was
Sunshine?
already saying it.
Okay.
It was too late to
I
back off.
understand now.
Yeah, Steve Carell was the dad.
He was like he was the dad?
Yeah, I think he was, or was he the gay uncle? Yeah.
No, it the
He
gay
was
fish.
Mr. Sunshine.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's what the gay thing was all about. I thought you were
think
just
so.
being a certain.
I think that was partly like my brain actually remembering something about that, and
This is
then
good warm up time.
Yeah, no, this is what we need.
We need to get this out of the way.
Look, guys, I I hope you enjoyed having a good podcast, because that ends today.
The guy who wrote Little Miss Sunshine did the first drafts of Force Awakens.
Really?
Yeah, and then I think it was basically that he wanted more time than they wanted to wait.
Right.
Like, so then he was like, this is Star Wars. I want to make it good. And JJ was like, fuck it, dude. Watch the first one. That's what we're doing. Just what are you talking about?
Starts just like Poe can't fly ships anymore because he's colorblind and he's really sad about it.
Damn it.
Shit. They're chasing the Millennium Falcon. They're trying to push start the Millennium Falcon and they're jumping.
And then Rey goes to the pageant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chewie dies. They have his body in the back of the.
They're gonna kill him.
Chewie?
Yeah, he's dying.
No, we can't kill Chewbacca.
It feels pointless now to do it, because like
That's why I want it.
I guess Rey would feel something.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say. I guess Rey would do it.
No, I was
They're finally
first. I was
pulling
gonna say
trigger.
there's no one there to care about it, but like they've kind of been hanging out.
They're like
It's just
crashing in the Falcon, and they're like, "Wait, we need to lose weight in here. There's too much weight in here." And she just shoots Chewbacca right in the head. It's like, Jesus, we got all these freaking boxes. You could have thrown out a box.
What's even in these? What is ever in the Millennium Falcon?
My shoes. And this is why.
This is why there's nothing.
She's got all those ancient books now.
Oh yeah, she does have all those fucking books she stole.
But you should dump the space dog first.
The thing, but Chewbacca has been long before Han and will exist
Yes.
long after. He's like 400 by the
Yeah,
time
he's old,
he
man.
even meets Han.
Yeah, no, I don't genuinely think they'll kill him.
Yeah.
But I think that if they did, it would just make you go like, why? Like, but in a way that is a little bit funny to me.
What do you
Of like it being unnecessary. Of like, you didn't need to do that to us. Like
Sure,
we
we're just
didn't.
gonna dismantle the legacy.
No
just
one
to make
wanted
sure.
this. Yeah.
Gonna bring back shit. Who's the guy in the helmet?
Boba
Phasma?
Fett.
Darth Vader.
You mean the girl?
No, Boba Fett. They're gonna bring back Boba Fett and kill him. Yeah.
Just for like one
But like,
second.
make sure it's really clear that he's definitely dead this time.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can't have any theories.
Fucking
Right.
head gets blown off.
His head's
very
blown off.
graphically. The first fuck in Star Wars. Fuck.
Oh my god. Yeah. Do they have curse words? They say damn, right?
Probably. Sarlacc. I don't know, dude. You don't want to think too much about the etymology of the Star Wars universe. Because it's just like, why does anyone have British accents? That's weird.
Right.
Where do humans come from?
Well, I think that they.
No, I'm changing the subject. Where do humans come from?
Fucking space
Like in Star Wars or
No, that's
our world.
in our world.
Anyway,
Well, I was just always wondering because my big question about all that was, are we human or are we dancer?
Yeah,
That was more where
that's what it really comes down
scientists
to.
for years have been.
Yeah, I don't know.
They,
Humans
they
are-
haven't found the missing link on that yet.
Nah.
No, they're not. I don't know, man. I wish I wasn't a human.
What?
No, I don't want to be a human anymore. We watched a lot
Would
of-
you want to still look the same
Yeah,
and just not
yeah.
be human?
Yeah, probably.
What does that mean? Speaking of you looking the same, we're gonna post a picture of this girl in that movie I Kill Giants.
Okay.
Because it is Tim Kish.
It's
Tim
unsettling.
Kish. It's upsetting. It's wild.
Why? How is it me? How could I possibly?
Tim, it just
how could
triggers
with my-
the Tim
wait, hold on a second here.
sensor in my brain when I look
with
at
my
it.
soft features and sunken in dead eyes. How could I look like a young girl?
Buddy, you tell me. I thought you were about to like be like, how would I listen? It's not even possible. Like, how would I possibly have been in the film I Kill Giants? It just doesn't even make sense. Like, what are you implying that I somehow every night was flying to Atlanta, Georgia?
How could my agent have booked that for me 11 months ago?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Sure.
I'm gonna show Nick this picture. What were you starting to say, Tim? I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
You want to be a fucking thing that it looks like you but isn't a human.
Yeah, something like a Saiyan.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah, you know.
There we are.
So still
We got
basically
it.
a human,
Yeah,
but you
yeah,
can like
yeah, yeah.
punch
But,
fucking
like,
I just
can
want to be able
power
to
up.
raise my power level. Yeah.
Yeah, and like every time I get beat, I want to be able to get.
every time you get beat.
Yeah, I get like beaten up.
Oh.
You know,
Gotta do
that's what a
that
Saiyan's
Zenkai.
power is.
Oh, that they just but it
it's
doesn't
just like
kill
every
you.
time you
Makes
get your
stronger.
ass beat, you just get way, way stronger.
You see it, right? Dude, you looked at it, right?
Yeah, I saw it. No, it's okay.
That's you,
No, it's not. It's
Tim.
not me. It's someone else.
Tim.
Accept it.
Friend.
That's a different person.
Jesus Christ. It was making me laugh. I could not take the movie seriously once Amber pointed it out. It was so funny to me because there would be these really like long shots, like these really slow push-ins, and she would just be like, Mom. Yeah. It was just for some reason imagining it as you was ruining all sorts of dramatic tension for me.
I mean, I want to watch it as a comedy now, just that I know that.
That movie also did disappoint me a little bit. That's one of those ones where unfortunately, so I looked this up, I Kill Giants. This was a graphic novel. The graphic novel was published in 2008, or it started, I think it was maybe like a series thing. It started in 2008. Unfortunately similar to When a Monster Calls or A Monster Calls, and this has it beat by like 3 years or so publication wise, and the Monster Calls movie had this beat by like over a year. So like when I was watching it was like, wow, this is unsettlingly similar, of like there being kind of a sick parent and like you're not sure if the monster thing is even a real thing, which I gotta be honest with you, I'm sick of the questions of if a fantasy element is happening or not, or if it's some sort of like metaphor or...
Yeah, the Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, I was going to ask you from the title. I didn't think it actually had to do with giants.
And like it leaves it somewhat vague that you could be like, if you wanted to watch it and be like, okay, so there were also giants, but also this thing was happening, fine. But like, I'm just like, the movie spends a long time letting you wonder if you're actually going to see a damn...
Well, why didn't they call it They Might Be Giants?
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Why didn't they call it They Might Be Giants? Just go full on.
I think
They might be giants.
Maybe a copyright snag or two.
But I don't know. I'm done with that. I think plant your feet in what you're up to and like leave the questions into other stuff. I don't like the questions at the end of a movie to be if the fabric of the movie was honest or not.
That sounds
that almost ruined Pan's Labyrinth for me until I saw that Guillermo del Toro was like, yeah, it actually happened, basically, if you look at these clues. And I was like, fine, then it's so good with me.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I feel like that's just like kind of a long-winded way of saying that you want to see giants and things.
Yeah.
Like if somebody promises you the monster, you want the monster to actually be there.
Yeah, it's true.
Sure.
Look, there was a reason I watched this, and it was because Giants was in the title.
That movie did have really good Foley. It's like not a thing I typically notice, but like
Right.
every time she like handled a bottle or a strap on a bag, it was just so crisp and perfect. I was like,
You know, it's kind of funny in a way because when I think about movies that kind of end like that, where the monster thing was a metaphor for what was really happening in their life. It's like, yeah, we know. Isn't that what a good monster movie should be anyway?
Yeah.
Just without telling you that.
Yes.
Like every monster should be a reflection of some inherent fear that
Yes.
humans have.
that's why. I mean, for what it's worth, I'll take like Colossal over something like that.
Yeah, I was about to say
Where they're
Colossal.
just like, it's hardcore. Nah, we ain't avoiding it. This is happening,
Yep,
and
it's real.
yeah.
And she learned a lesson somehow through it. What a strange, very offbeat movie.
That's
but
a weird
I
movie.
think I really like that.
It crosses my mind
Yeah, I
every
think
so
about it a lot.
often. But yeah, speaking of
Too bad
fucking
about that CG fire, though.
what?
Yeah, the
The
CGI
CG
fire in the
fire.
bar. Do you remember that?
Oh,
It looks
yeah.
like
And that
fucking
scene
like
just
Aqua
taking
Teen
too
Hunger
long.
Force. Looks like Aqua Teen Hunger Force fire. Where it's just like the,
It's keyframed on top of something that's moving, and it doesn't like. There's no reaction in the fire. Oh, your head's on fire! Whoa!
like a Snapchat filter. Like, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, monsters, huh? Guess what else had
Yeah.
monsters?
Yes, Dragon Ball Z Super.
Yeah, how you
Yeah,
guys feel
that's-
about that?
Well, it was kind of cool how they had Frieza and Goku team up at the end there, but
I could not believe such things.
Wait, is this real?
Yeah, well, so in the latest arc of Dragon Ball Z, they need 10 of the strongest fighters, and unfortunately, Boo falls asleep.
again.
That's a plot
Again.
point.
Well, so Boo gets super fit, and he becomes like really strong and skinny.
Oh my
but
God.
because he worked out so much, he gets really tired, and he falls asleep for like 3 years.
Who the fuck was Oob?
He's a reincarnation of Evil Boo.
Yeah, when Evil Boo died, which is
Okay.
a separate entity than Super
What a
Boo.
weird thing they did for a minute.
Yeah, well, I mean, like,
Was
it
he still
makes
around?
more sense in GT. He's there
Yes,
in GT.
we've established that he's there in Super as like a small child.
Is
Yeah.
GT canon?
No, not
no.
officially. No, it's not.
Okay, I
They
didn't think
haven't
so.
fully cut it out of the canon. Like Super hasn't done anything so hard that it's like, yep, GT couldn't have happened.
Well, so
What?
okay.
You said,
No,
well, so.
I know. The thing about Dragon Ball Z is it's like we've come to find that the most Goku thing possible is to want to save his enemies because like he had a fun time fighting them.
Right.
So like that's why he brings Kid Buu back to life as
Gotcha.
just because he doesn't want that power to go away.
Yeah, we act like it's so ridiculous
Sorry.
that Frieza was working with them for a little bit when Piccolo and Vegeta were villains and are part of the team, and Tien,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Yeah.
sort
But,
of
like,
Yamcha. It's like everybody but
Yeah,
Goku.
and Vegeta did kill all his whatever. The point is, like, in
Yeah.
this latest arc, they needed 10 fighters and they brought Frieza back, and he promises to bring Frieza back to life officially if they win the whole thing. And at the very end of the thing, there's this whole big final battle, and Goku is winded and really weak, and basically Frieza comes in to save him, and they fight together to beat the final bad guy,
Wow.
Goku and Frieza. And it's a moment where it's like, holy shit, this is
Yeah.
for anybody who
Nice
watched Dragon
fanfic.
Ball Z, it's kind of a big deal, but at the same time, it's what the fuck is even
This
happening
happened
in
all the
this
time
show?
with my toys.
Yeah. And that's really what the show has become.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of ways.
They
it's
just throw
like,
in
what if they did
Spider-Man, it'll
this?
be exactly what I did.
I know.
Yeah. What if there was an evil Goku? It's like that is just like a toy fantasy of he doesn't have the villain, so it's the Goku is the bad guy. in
And this is like
one.
the second evil Goku at
Yeah,
minimum.
it's true. Yeah, it hasn't been the most imaginative, but it was really beautifully animated the last couple episodes, and it was it kind of ends on the plot of the final arc was that every universe is going to get erased, and the one that wins survives, and the final wish was to bring back all the universes.
Of course it was.
So it was a nice
Which
little
everybody
ending
knew
to
for
Dragon
months,
Ball Z
but-
Super.
Wow.
I don't know. It's just like our little super minute.
Yeah.
Darren, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I think I liked the episode more than you did.
Oh, you're gonna earnestly talk about it?
I think no, we kind of already covered it. I knew we would bring it up because
My thoughts are that you guys are fucking nerds. That's what I think about Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, it was cool.
Look, Dom, you need to appreciate Japanese cartoons. It's an art form.
Dude, Dragon Ball Super has been fantastic because it's like it convinces me that somebody made a wish on the Dragon Balls and an 11-year-old boy took over Toriyama's brain, and it was just like, what if there was a blue Super Saiyan? It's like, oh, of course, sir, a blue. No, well, because first it's like, what if there was a red Super Saiyan and he gets like real skinny, and then like they do 10 episodes that he's like, wait, no, what if he's blue? Now he's blue
yeah,
and
they,
he's really
they really
big.
changed
And
their
then they're
minds
like,
real
oh,
quick.
He was
okay.
just sitting in an airport in fucking like Idaho, and some kid had a Dragon Ball Z coloring book and was like doing really shitty drawings next to it where Goku was like too skinny and red, and he colored in his hair blue by accident. And
I think what you guys need
he's
to
like walking by
appreciate
and he was like,
here, the more hair colors they have, the more action figures you can make.
"That's true, dude.
That is true.
That's true." Speaking of fucking action, never mind. What are we doing? We talking about Pacific Rim?
Yeah, well, I mean, this all kind of ties into it.
It does.
What do you really
Did
think
you
of it?
guys
Because,
see
like, I'm
Pacific
sure I
Rim?
saw a blue-haired Goku, like Chinese knockoff toy. At
Oh
some
yeah,
point when
for
I was
sure.
younger.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
I love those little silly stores those little silly stores I call them. But like where you walk in and like there was just such a mystery.
Superhero Squad, where it's like Piccolo, Shrek.
Oh
Like,
yeah, those even differently. But I even mean the ones where they would just, because everyone had it, where there was one store in a mall that wasn't your closest mall, or like in a strip mall that was also sold Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and that was it. And like there would be all these like magically foreign Dragon Ball Z toys in them.
Sure.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And that was like this thing.
Isn't
I wish.
regular Dragon Ball Z magical and foreign?
What?
Yeah. No.
But you know what I mean? Whereas like you weren't finding that in Toys R Us or whatever. Like it was the stuff that was like the box was Japanese and stuff, and there was still that point where we were like 11 or 10 where that was like unattainable. You
And
couldn't
like
believe
Japanese
it.
toy culture was way different than American toy. Now it's like more of the same, where there's like a big high-end market. But back then you would see like $150 action figure of Goku, and like,
Yeah,
what the fuck is that?
it's interesting, man. And now you go into friggin' Barnes and Noble.
I was about to say Barnes and Nobles. I've seen they've got this nice setup with them now. And
Yeah,
it's just
and
like,
there's a
that's more
whole-
money than I have still.
There's a glass case of Dragon Ball Z characters in Barnes and Noble,
Yeah.
like set up nicely, like they matter.
Because it has mattered. Like, still in our minds, it's just this kids
Right.
thing that we watched. But now, 20 years on, it has become a cultural touchstone.
Right. We
Cultural touchstone.
You okay?
Kiss the cultural touchstone.
that high voice. I don't know why that was what that.
The second time in 3 episodes
I know.
that
I
you have done that
I
voice.
love that joke.
It was good. You're fucking Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
What a legendary, wonderful thing. And now I'm looking forward to the movie. and
Well, we can talk
Joke
about
about
the animu fucking undertones of this
specific.
rim job.
Come on.
I know.
There
What can
were
I
some
say?
definite
Easiest
Godzilla
possible.
vibes.
What do you want me to say? Like Pacific Tim?
Tim.
Yeah.
That's what when I moved to the West Coast, I became Pacific Tim.
Oh, man.
Uprising. It's every morning.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours behind Eastern Tim.
So wait, welcome to Reasonable Beef.
Oh, wow.
Welcome to Seasonable Treats. I can't do that.
Why?
I don't know.
Think of something clever to call it this time because of Pacific Rim.
Pacificable Reeds.
Welcome to Treasonable Beef. That's what we'll do if
It's our ISIS episode.
Oh, no.
I was gonna say more like when in a fun cartoony way someone else has taken over the podcast.
No, I'm saying
no.
we literally we have ISIS on the podcast.
They've taken us
the guys.
hostage.
This is the one where we reviewed government secrets.
Welcome to- That'd be incredible if somebody leaked documents to us.
We did
Like,
Treasonable
that's
Beef.
Like WikiLeaks. That's good. WikiLeaks
Just have a
is
similar name to
compromised.
somewhere that it was supposed to go.
Who could we send this to? Oh, there's this podcast where they have like 300 people.
Yeah. Well, fucking.
Pacific Rim.
Welcome to Reasonable Beef. My name's Tim Kish. I'm joined by my guy.
Hello, it's me, Dom.
And who else is here with us?
Hello, this is Darren Urmey. I am a friend of theirs.
Darren Urmey. He's an old friend. Used to be in a couple of the videos. Now a game designer. Has a new tabletop game coming out soon called The Greatest Snake.
Yes.
Probably be up on Kickstarter by the time this airs.
Yes.
Awesome.
Absolutely. And Darren, how long have you been designing tabletop games?
This was literally the first one. So about 8 months.
Very cool. So this has been 8 months of the making. I've seen this every step of the way. I've watched it grow. I look at it like a godchild, and I believe in the greatest snake.
Godchild.
Yes, that's what I mean. Of course.
Right, yeah, no, I knew what you meant.
It's the godchild that will raise us all up.
Yeah. And Darren,
yeah,
so Darren was a video game boy. You went to school for
Yeah, I was
like
a Game Boy.
Yeah, for like you can read matrix code and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what the first way they teach us is the vertical scrolling green letters, and then
No, I know.
Yeah, so there's C++, C++, vertical scrolling green
Right,
matrix letters,
right.
Python, Ruby on Rails.
I see blonde, brunette, redhead, or whatever he fucking says in the movie The Matrix.
yeah, the first game
But
I
I-
got done was Dom's game.
Oh yeah, Peter Bell
the
Saves
old
Christmas.
deck game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
holy shit, yeah, you designed a Flash game.
I liked how you were talking about it, Darren, where you said that when you were gearing up to do another game or whatever, and you realized that like doing the card game or a tabletop game is like physical programming, and it was faster and easier to manage.
Because it can't have bugs in the
Jesus
same way.
Christ.
Yeah.
What a fucking human robot you are.
No, I love that.
I have found that physical games are easier to manage as they require less data.
I understand that
Look,
though, man.
Dom explained it and made me sound bad. I was just like, oh,
Oh,
man,
did
this
I?
is,
I thought
this
it
is so
sounded cool.
nice, just like messing with actual stuff that won't break the
Right.
same way as like a program. Programs are just so annoying.
You don't set it
Almost
down and all of a
literally
sudden
breaks.
all the cards are like green for no reason. Fuck!
Basically.
What the hell happened? And that card's going through the table.
Like, I don't have to program the universe to have cards work and just be.
Right.
There's been that interpretation of magic, right, as literally like data programming for real life things.
I'm sure if you like looked at the map of all the like what thing does what and all the friggin' charts and lines like nerds do.
What are you talking?
It would look like.
If you consult the charts, I'm sure you'll see.
I meant that if you like looked at it all written out like that, it would look like
Look at what all right
it would
now.
look like crazy data programming.
What would
Yeah,
magic?
I mean,
Magic.
The charts and lines class I took was right after the Green Matrix code.
I didn't realize this was the let's all make Dom sound stupid episode.
All right,
We didn't
now-
make you sound stupid.
No, it's you. It's
accomplished
you.
that.
It's not me.
All right, I know you guys. I know I'm keeping you all late, so you'll be a little late for Clacky Keyboards class. But this charts and lines is really important, so I need y'all to get this.
Whatever.
That's my favorite hacker thing. Every hacker has to have a keyboard that sounds like he's booking an airline flight. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Gooey. That's my favorite part of Jurassic Park.
What?
When the girl talks about this is like a GUI, an interface.
What the fuck are you?
Graphical user interface, GUI.
But
when you just said GUI out of nowhere, I was like, wait, what? Is your keyboard GUI? What's happening?
GUI. We saw a Pacific Rim.
Woo!
2. Uprising.
Okay, so Dom, you didn't like the first one, right?
I hated the first
Tim,
one.
did you?
I as well hated the first one.
I called Tim. I don't have many of these memories. I probably talked about it on Beef before, but I called Tim after I saw this movie angry. Or the first one, I mean. The first Pacific Rim. Like, I walked out of the theater, and I remember being on the phone with you, getting into it.
I remember Pacific Rim was sort of the beginning of my wokening. Because I remember this is the first movie that I ever remember seeing and going,
oh, I'm gay.
That female.
sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah. Yep. No, it's the first movie I remember watching and going like, why can't the girl do anything good?
Yeah.
Why are we not letting her do anything well or competently?
Let alone the every single man in it who looked like Charlie Hunnam.
Yes.
Like, they all looked the same.
The most forgettable people I've ever seen in my life.
Like blank face, tough dude. Like, here's the thing. In this movie, in Pacific Rim Uprising, when he's at the Hall of Heroes, and there's like a gruff Russian dude with blonde hair, I'm like, I didn't remember that guy. How forgettable was this fucking movie?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But yeah, no, my point was, like, not to start it off on too much of like, I'm a feminist, but like, they wouldn't let the...
Well, you didn't need to do that voice when you said I'm a feminist. Like, I think that was maybe where you went wrong with it.
Yeah, they didn't let Mako do anything in the first movie, and like the fucking dude...
See, I don't even remember it. I don't remember,
like maybe just because she was the most likable character, I kind of remember her well in that one.
I just remember thinking that it was one of the most obvious misplacements of who the main characters are I have like maybe ever seen in a movie ever, where you because it's like, it's not that thing where it's just like the main characters just happen to be boring but they're who you have. It was like the main characters were boring and I didn't understand why they were the ones making the connection, and then every so often it would cut away to Charlie Day and the German scientist guy having
Herman.
Banter and a relationship and growing to know each other and appreciate each other. And I was like, why in the sweet shit are they not the main characters of this movie? Sure. That's like the most obvious. It would have been way more satisfying. And I remember coming out of the first Pacific Rim, and it was one of those first times getting angry at people who were settling for like, oh, it's robots punching each other. What do you expect? And it's like, we say this all the time. It's our fucking beef motto, basically. You expect what the movie tells you to expect. And when like the movie is acting like it was up to more than it was, when the movie was insinuating these big emotional beats and they're just not there, they feel hollow. It's like, well, then I'm not just gonna then be on board for the monsters and the robots punching each other.
Taking big melodramatic swings and having I would love to see this main character is Jake Sully. That's what this stereotype, this like archetype of just forgettable, big time, tough.
How dare you?
Rip meat slab.
How dare you talk about Sully that way?
Biff hard cheese.
Don't sully his name.
One of the other.
Oh, come on, Darren.
Big McLarge huge. Like, just fucking.
Yeah, what was that from? The Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah.
Big
just
McLarge
this guy,
huge.
just this fucking forgettable #1 best Marine, and I think the guy's name is Raleigh Beckett. Right?
Oh, sure it is. Yeah.
I still don't know how to pronounce his first name, but I know how it's spelled.
Yeah, Ivory Whiteman. Yeah, I know him. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, and just wow, like such a. You're right. So it did take these big melodramatic swings. Never really quite followed through on any of them, and then the fights were just not super interesting. And
agreed.
I didn't quite get what it was coming at from.
They made an excuse to not use the sword. They're like, oh yeah, the blood will get in the ocean and it's bad.
Right.
But it's like, we want to see the sword.
And here's the thing.
Bring that right out.
Give us the goddamn sword.
People think that I don't get it because they're like, oh, it's a tokusatsu thing. It's like a kaiju thing where everybody in the suits is supposed to be like they're in the Godzilla suits or in where there's supposed to be a man in it and it's supposed to look clunky and operate like that. But without the camp of someone in a suit
Yeah.
Or it just looks stupid.
It's, like,
or
frustrating.
It is. It's just frustrating to watch. It's just like annoying CG fights. And like to contrast that, they just had Shin Godzilla come out where it is a guy in a suit. It looks fucking rad.
Right. Yeah, I just it opened, I remember, with like he loses his brother who was his co-pilot, and you're kind of like, fine.
Sure.
His brother was just as memorable as he was.
His brother literally, like, it might as well have been like an Army Hammer and Social Network thing. Like, it's just the
Rip
same.
and Biff hard cheese.
Yeah, I love that
Chip
guy.
Beefman.
Yeah, he was great. But okay, so that said, I got that out of the way. I think I liked this one more.
I think I did too.
And mainly because, and now here's the thing. I was like, there was about halfway through this movie, I was staring in disbelief when I realized it was making the same mistake again.
Yeah.
When it was putting John Boyega with Ivory Whiteman, I was like, why are we doing this? Because not only, see, at least in the other one, they gave you the less interesting team up first.
Right.
They showed you like, okay, here are who are going to be the main characters in this, right? And then in this one, this one they open up with, here are these charming leads who are funny together. They were pulling off a thing. Like I was into like the first.
So did you guys like the girl or?
I did. I liked the girl. I at least liked the.
I loved Great Value Chloe Grace Moretz.
Come on.
my very favorite part of this.
No, I liked her, man. I think that she did a good job, and I liked
the everyday 365 version.
I liked them
I'm
together
not a huge
too.
fan of cocky children characters. Just towards the beginning, it was a bit much.
I feel you.
I understand that, I guess, but like. It was such a breath of fresh air when I saw that they were the ones who were going to be together, because I was like, oh, so it's not a romance thing. It's kind of like a big brother, little sister thing.
Sure.
And it was interesting. They were different enough people that I was like, this is kind of what I wanted in the first one, where it was like truly these people who were like, oh, they're not going to get along. They're like fighting, and it's a fun kind of.
Scott Eastwood comes in.
And then they bring in freaking Clint Eastwood's kid.
Oh, gosh.
And it was just like, no, you dummies, you started to do it. They didn't even
You're doing so well.
They literally, like, it was every beat of the way. It was like, so she's put into the academy. He's got to be there. He doesn't want to be there. They were both kind of forced into this. She's not matching up with any of her students. And I thought, like, and then they even put on the like trial helmet to connect. That moment where they did the flashback where you got to see her and her family get stomped on. That was, all right, it made me like laugh a little bit.
No, dude, every impact of this movie is very. Can we talk about the general character in like his little thing when the missiles come at him?
Wait, which
Oh
one?
yeah,
There's
that
a part
was
where
such
he's
a
like,
Godzilla
I
moment.
need all of my pilots on the floor.
Yeah.
And then missiles get through the blast doors and they go to him. And as they're approaching him, he stands. His arms are splayed out. Arms like full reach from the right to the left. His legs from the right to the left, like the cover of a Cable Guy with Jim Carrey. And he goes, oh!
Like, have you guys
gets
seen any of the
blown up by
actual
missiles.
Godzilla movies besides like Shin Godzilla? I guess you saw, but
Like, do you mean old ones?
No, I'm not very
yeah,
familiar.
yeah.
No, I haven't.
That's such a Godzilla moment. Like that's exactly how it would do it. So a lot of the cheesy moments that would have like landed weird for me, I was like, that's actually super. Like
I'm
those
fine
movies.
with that stuff. Like that stuff for me isn't the stuff that then, especially this one felt more like it knew it wanted to just be cool, but it was like I wanted. You can't dip your toe in both pools. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted
Like
it
being
to
a good
either,
movie and being a bad movie.
Right. No, like when you start to flirt with that, you know, John Boyega and the girl are going to have like some sort of true emotional connection of like that they've lost people and blah, and this whatever. Like don't like a little bit give me that and it never actually be a thing. And then also don't a little bit. See, I'll tell you where I started to get I was on board in the beginning hard. I was like, cool, he's a fucking thief. He's stealing robot parts. I was having that fantasy that I had when we were watching Justice League where I was like, this would be fun to watch this one and never have seen the other one.
Yeah,
Where
I was
you're just
super
like,
into the intro. It felt really different then.
Yeah. And I was like, this is cool. Oh, cool, little cool robot that she built, whatever. I was into it. And then Scott Eastwood showed up, and then they like just went and they were boring for a while.
See, it's funny because I kind of disagree. When that intro started up and I saw that they were kind of trying to take it at that angle, I was just very exhausted by that because it did feel like we're gonna do a Marvel movie-esque intro.
Yeah, I
like
understand.
You didn't like him
Guardians
kissing hot
thing.
sauce and Oreos?
Yeah, no.
No, but see, that was weird to me. Like, I liked it because it was weird.
It didn't quite land. I think just the
I
audience, the audience that I saw this with never reacted to really any of the humor, and I can't blame them because it does feel like writers roomed in jokes like a lot of the time.
it was forcing the humor a bit. I just like the salvager in like an interesting landscape. Of, like all the tech, all the like bones in like a half mansion, all this like, weird trash.
And then we do meet Scrapper, which is the like the tiny shitty little robot, which I thought was a reference to a Gundam robot called Acguy, ACGUY, which is kind of like a burrowing robot that can.
Personally, it reminded me of Custom Robo, but.
Personally, it reminds me of a Gundam G8C69, originally ran in UC 944.
If you look at the fins below the shoulders, you can.
No, don't stop. I'm
Nobody did
almost
any
finished.
But and then, so to talk about the robot designs, I suppose, really quick, the Jaeger changes, kind of leaning more into the, I don't want to call it anime inspired per se, but
it's
just
like
the
sleek.
robot fightiness, like where it's okay. Now we're just gonna have this cool orange robot with beam dual sabers.
Yeah,
like,
why
that's
not?
rad, perfect, cool.
Yeah.
And that's the agile one. This guy's got an energy whip. That's exactly more of what I'm looking for at a Pacific Rim than punchy. Than
I was wondering if they leaned more into the robots versus robots so they could excuse the sword thing even because of the rule they made up for themselves.
I forgot about that. I forgot there was a rule about swords.
I only knew because somebody said it after I made fun of it before.
Right. But where this movie full blast I loved more than the first one was in, there were weird things in this that I like weird story things, like the aliens taking over robots and like having an alien brain inside of a robot. I thought was fucking cool.
Yes.
And I liked when the drones transformed and they had spikes coming out of their robot parts and then they were like roaring like monsters. I was like, fuck yes.
Sure.
That's the Dawn button right there.
Yep.
I am down with this. And at the end too, I liked when the little creepy crawlies, which was weird because like they set it up. I was thinking, oh, this is interesting. They're always fighting these big things, but what happens if like there's a coordinated attack from something small?
Yeah, I thought they were gonna rip them apart.
Yeah.
Right, that they can't. And then it was just like, you know what? Actually, we're gonna smash these monsters together and make a big monster. But I was also like, once the big monster was together, I was like,
Sure.
Yeah, I was still into that.
fucking cool.
But you know what? Like that attitude of fucking cool pervades the whole movie, and I think that it never tries to be more than a 6 out of 10, which is its biggest flaw for me. Because I think at the end of the day, I like the way that this movie came together more than Pacific Rim. But Pacific Rim definitely had a thing that it was going for, and this just kind of tries to be a blockbustery robot movie.
What if we did some cool?
Which is fine. So what it feels like to me is like when a feature film is turned into a TV show. You know what I'm talking about? Where
Sure,
it's kind
you
of
gotta,
like
like, expand
the
a little
main
and-
theme and the thing that it's going for has kind of been hollowed out in exchange for its premise, and then just kind of goes after something else. That's exactly what this felt like to me.
I'll give it a lot of credit though, because I did not expect it to have anywhere near so much like of a plot. I was like, they're gonna come back and then they're gonna fight him again, but there was like an actual mystery to it that kind of like had some turns that you're like, oh, is Shao the bad guy or what's going on?
Yeah, I liked all that. That worked for me.
Don't get me. This movie is nonsense. This movie's narrative makes no sense, and its
I'm not
world
saying
building
it made
makes
a
no
ton of
sense
sense.
at all either. And I think that for me, that's its biggest flaw. Is how does this army operate exactly? Like, who is this? Who is Jake Pentecost? Like,
And where are the safety measures or anyone double checking anything?
You don't leave the military for 10 years and then get brought back, and all of a sudden you're like the general of like the top program where there's only these 4 robots in the world.
Well, they did a good
But
job,
Tim, he's
though,
the
of-
son of the best guy.
He was the
So
son
he's
of the
the
best
new
guy,
best guy.
but they also made a point to kill everybody before he was actually in battle. Because it was sort of like, if they're all, they're kind of all that's left, and like the kids as well, which is another weird halfway between wanting to sort of be more for kids and more have this like YA novel thing. But like I don't know, those were the
Ender's
things.
Game in there.
Yeah, it was just sloppy. It started to feel a little thrown together. But the
I could have
through
done
line,
without all the kids besides the main one.
Charlie Day walking into his fucking like bedroom and there being the tank with the giant brain thing, and he like comes with it, that was to me, I was like, whoa, this is
want
weird, and I loved it. No, I was like,
yeah.
that genuinely got me back on board, where I was like, that's a weird thing to
As
have
soon
in
as-
this movie.
As soon as he walked in and nobody like came up to him as he was talking, I was like, "Oh, brain in a jar." I wasn't thinking alien brain in a jar. It was just like the Sarah brain had me thinking that.
Yeah, can we talk about that for a second? Where I can't meld with Sarah. It's like, oh, we're still using Sarah, and she's like a brain in a jar. It's like, so is this woman
Alive?
cursed
That
for all
was my main
eternity
question after this
to
movie, if I'm being honest.
be conscious and fused with children's brains all day?
I just can't seem to sync with Sarah. Every time I put the helmet on, I just hear, "Help me! Let me die!
They made drifting a lot easier in this movie, just out of ease, I guess.
Yeah,
Everybody can just
that's
drift
true.
with everybody if you try hard enough.
and these are the things like, don't tell me things that you're gonna do and then not do them. Like it's a little bit, to drill it into the ground, it's a little bit the Wreck-It Ralph problem of like, if you're gonna set up, and it's the same problem I had with the first one, if you're gonna set up that the main, it's a fantastic idea that the device for these robots to fight is for two people to
Form a
meld
connection.
emotionally.
Sure.
That's sick. I'm into that.
Yeah,
you
just
know
like
I'm
Wreck-It
into
Ralph.
that. Just exactly like Wreck-It Ralph. But don't do this whole thing where you're teasing that they sort of like are gonna, like, they need to learn about each other, like, and then they never have a solid just sitting together dialogue scene.
Yeah.
But no, then she just
Like-
tried harder.
She just tried harder and then was
got
good.
it.
And like, I don't know.
I'm
man.
increasingly seeing these movies that are entirely too long and somehow way too short, like missing key
Right, missing
important
these-
shit. Like,
It's
how
like, oh,
is
you
this
brought up
movie
the most interesting thing in your movie and just moved on.
Right.
Well, so the movie is 151, 1 hour 51 minutes, which I think is pretty substantial for this
It's
kind of
actually
a
not even
movie.
that bad.
For this kind of a movie, and it really, I don't give a shit about anybody in this movie, and every single character interaction was entirely boilerplate except for Charlie Day. And even like the Charlie Day
sure.
like Gottlieb like scenes were very comical.
Yeah.
There's a lot of push-in shots in this
Oh,
movie.
yeah,
of-
those were
of
weird.
people just kind of going like the Gottlieb character.
Yeah. I think I agree as far as the character. Like, I think the
Movie's edited
characters.
strangely.
It was edited strangely. The character stuff to me was a step above the other one. But that said, I still didn't give a shit about anyone really. I was more interested in genuine, which is weird, but I was more interested in the plot of it. Of like,
But I just to your point that you made earlier of, you know, you see Charlie J's character and Dr. Gottlieb kind of growing and
Yeah.
turning into a thing, and that becomes sort of a key point in the first movie. And in this one, it's kind of like Bulk and Skull, where it's like, he's my buddy, and and they're
What do you mean by that?
You know, where they just become like two comical characters.
Sure.
And, you know, like kind of now the joke is, or now that you're not seeing the relationship growing. The thing
yeah.
is, like, you remember this relationship, right?
yes, this movie
Well, they did a
that
lot
thing,
of, you remember this thing from the last
Yeah,
movie, right?
Sure.
which is weird because it was making me go, did this secretly become a very big thing? Is
Yeah.
Pacific Rim like a big thing
I
and I
don't
didn't realize
know.
In
it?
China,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Really?
It could be. Maybe is
We're-
it a China thing?
Well,
I'm
it
not
made
sure.
all that money in China. That's why it got a sequel.
Oh, you said
wow.
in China. I thought you said kinda. Sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
In China, kinda.
In
But
China.
well, that was also like I do. It is funny now, and I know it's like it's for the. I know what it's doing for as far as like flavoring movies better with different characters you wouldn't see normally. But I am becoming so aware in these big movies that they are full blast angling towards that big China opening.
Yeah.
Is like the character, the Chinese girl in this, who was like
Who
a
is
main
that
character.
woman? Because she is in everything. Like, she is the young Chinese woman in literally every.
was she in
fucking
Age of
thing.
Ultron?
She was in.
Or is it just the same character? Is
Tim,
it
do
like-
you
'cause
just
it
think
was-
all Chinese women look the same? Like,
No, because don't do that to me. It was Jing Chan. And I hate her. She's
Why?
terrible because she was in The Great Wall, and she was terrible in The Great Wall.
Well, I
she
didn't
was
see
like
that.
she was the warrior, the warrior general woman. Which
Right.
cool thing about Great Wall, they don't hook up. Which part of me thinks maybe it's because of the Chinese opening, but also because, like, you know, it's just nice to see the main female character and the main male character not. She was in Kong Skull Island.
yeah, I was
She
really glad
the,
Boyega and the little girl didn't hook up.
Yeah, She was the like the assistant or whatever in Kong Skull Island, like the research assistant. She was also terrible in that. She's just not a very good actress.
I don't think I mean, that's like one of those ones where though it's hard because you know that it's like English isn't the first language thing.
Right.
And
So, and then you mean to tell me that well, I guess, but that's the strategic casting, because I think that she is popular in China. I think people in China do like to see her in movies.
right.
And, you know, English
Right.
isn't their first language, so maybe they're watching that performance and going like, you know, nothing against the woman. She might be a fantastic actress, but like her
Chinese
performances, her performances in English have never impressed me.
I mean, all I
would love
meant-
to see you guys
they've
act in
always felt like
Chinese,
script
though.
reads.
Personally.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm sure it's hard to act in an entirely different language like that. But the point is that like I feel like she is our strategic cast when they want movies to kind of pop.
well,
better
that's
in
more.
China.
That's all I was getting at was like that. I more noticed. I was like, oh yeah, they're like fully trying to make sure that there's like a recognizable Chinese actress in this thing.
I wonder
for
if
when it opened.
the Chinese audience is making fun of Charlie Day, saying like, "Oh, he can't act in Chinese."
Yeah, I know. Well, that was occurring to me too. I was like, those scenes must read really funny. Like
the one where he's suddenly really good at Mandarin, but it still probably sounds terrible because
Right.
like for whatever reason, like Hollywood
Yeah.
can't just nail an accurate sounding foreign language.
But yeah, it is
Should have
interesting.
dubbed
It's an
him over.
interesting, and it is funny. Like it's again, I think I still like my stance on that is still like for the best. Like I understand it's that same thing of it's coming from this like fully company minded. Let's make more money,
Right.
And how do we appeal to make more money?
Sure.
I
But
don't
like
think
at the end,
this was about making money. I think they wanted to make a good movie
Yeah,
about
this-
robots.
All right.
This movie comes
all right,
from the heart.
Darren. But yeah, all right. So what have we covered here? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I thought the story stuff was cool. Mix a fucking robot with an alien. I'm down. I don't like when it thinks it's being more. And you know, it's always like you can never blame the actors and stuff in it because they don't fucking know when you're on set. Like you're just
They're idiots. Yeah.
you just got to do it. Nah, but you have to commit in full trusting that it's going to
Right.
end up
Yeah.
being impactful. So like you have to really just give it and bring it and feel the moment. But then sometimes you're like at the end of it when they're in these fights and they're all screaming and crying when the robots are getting knocked over, I'm kind of like, nah.
I will say though, I think that the vocal effect that they put on them
on the robots.
like when they're
Yeah.
not when it's broadcasting out, but when they're in
Just
the
as a
suit going like
brrrr.
missile's coming, where it's got like the kind of
Yeah.
shitty staticness to it. It makes every melodramatic performance come out way better. I think it seems much more dramatic, just like
I know
kind of
what you mean.
speaking it into a radio. But and again, it's also the way they're being told to read the lines. Right, so there is
Yeah,
somebody on
sorta,
set
yeah.
saying, "Hey, do it like this."
but I don't think
Say
it's so
it like
much
you're
about like
speaking into a radio.
I don't know
No,
about
that's
it.
not what
I
I'm
didn't
talking
mean
about.
it like in a
Stop
way
being an asshole.
in the way that they're doing it. I just mean that sometimes when the movie isn't hitting as hard as the movie thinks it is, but
Yeah.
you see people full on committing to like the moment or the
Yeah.
emotional beat, and that just sticks out. Like you're like, ooh,
Yeah,
Man.
like the general dude getting blown up by the
yeah.
missile.
It was like we watched Orient Express recently, and there's a lot of that movie that I liked that worked, but then by the end of it, there's this. It's like supposed to be really heavy, and it's like them finding out who the killer is, and everyone was going so hard, and you know that when they were shooting
Yeah.
it, you had to, but it just reads as like whoof.
And that scene goes on for like 10
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
And it's just very sad
you're like,
music.
all right.
And oh, I'm so sad to be doing this right now.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. What do you think the direction was for that general screaming?
yeah. Hey, Scream.
Oh yeah, no, okay, that's probably it.
Copy that.
But yeah, and that's why I don't like, you know, when we see the defiant young girl character, and it is kind of like, you know, we've seen this a million times before, and she is Chloe Gleason. I cannot say that woman's name.
Clackawackazook.
Klaka Wazoo. Chloe
Chloe
Grace
Moritz?
Yeah. You just skip the middle name.
I feel bad for the girl, the young girl who played in this, because it's like, and it's not her fault to be
But you
shoehorned
know-
into that character, because I think she did a fine enough job.
Yeah.
It's just I've just seen that character washed up, and like it's so.
Yeah, the characters watch up, but I think that's maybe also why I appreciate it was that I was fully aware that she was doing a better job than what she was
Yeah,
given.
absolutely.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
But did anybody else was anybody else far too aware of Star Wars when watching this and like, oh, that's Rey to his Finn?
Was anyone else
No.
farting?
She's a scavenger living in
I was.
AT-AT.
No, I didn't. You know what? Weirdly,
guess
in the
that's
beginning,
true.
when he was running through like the, robot that looked like the Millennium Falcon, I was like a little bit being like, is this gonna like fuck with my head? Am I gonna keep imagining him as?
Yeah, you're gonna have memories of But
But it didn't.
piloting a giant
And
robot.
They
one
gave
of them
him
had
a-
a
they gave
British
him a
accent
mustache.
for no reason.
It's true.
and-
Yeah, he had a different accent. He's got a mustache.
You know how
and-
I know I'm racist? I didn't realize he
Wow.
had a mustache until 75% of the way through the movie.
Tim,
That's
that's not
very slight
racist.
mustache.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because like you just don't like it blends into his skin color. So I was just like, oh,
Yeah,
well, he's just like I saw
that's
his
getting
mustache.
cut out of me, but that's not making
I just
it
let
in.
you know that's how I know
No,
I'm racist.
that's not
I
making
just
it
want
in.
everyone to know that I know.
Look, Tim, we knew you were racist before mustaches.
Come on. Yeah,
That
I
started out
I don't think John Boyega should wear a mustache.
Why? I
just
liked it.
don't- I
I
don't
thought it
think
looked
looks
good.
I don't think it looks great on him.
Now we've gotten to the root of the issue.
I liked it. I thought it made him look older. Like I thought I bought more.
I did it where he's just like 10 years ago I washed out and I was just like what?
I was
Wait, you look 23.
I was very confused by the timeline of
Yeah.
like, wait, when was and so wait, are you telling me that he was there in the first movie? Like
I
he was
guess so.
around in the first movie but wasn't
Well, he was the son the guy didn't care about
right?
because he hadn't been written yet.
No, he was already he was already enlisted 10 years ago. So at the very oldest he's 28 or at the very youngest he's 28 now because it was 10 years ago.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Assuming you
But
have
also
to be
the
18
but
to
the
enlist.
war ended, he said 10 years ago. Right?
Right.
Right?
So that's what I'm saying. So the war ended 10 years ago. So if the war ended 10 years ago and he was in the army when the
Right.
war was going, at the very least he is 18 or 28.
Yeah, 28's not
Man,
that bad. I mean, we're
I do
practically
think-
28.
I'm going to go back to the Charlie Day having like mind sex with the thing cuz like
yeah, you can't leave that alone, can you?
no, it's making me too happy. I don't want to stop talking about
But
it.
before
No,
you go off on a thing, can we talk about how he invited Herman back to meet that brain? Like why? He was like, oh yeah,
what?
you can meet Alice, and then we find out Alice is a brain in a jar. It's kind of a bad move, you'd think.
Maybe, but also he was like fucked up. Like he wasn't thinking straight. Like I think it was that thing of he was sort of split and maybe he didn't realize like that.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay,
Do you know what I mean?
alright.
I don't know. Whatever.
Go on
Who
your
cares?
thing.
The point being that like I think that's a cool sequel move of because that's what I like in sequels. Do a thing in the first one, and then I like when sequels deal with the consequences of shit from the first movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And
yeah.
this being like because or if not the big move. It was one of the big moves that made them win in the first one, right? That they connected to one of the kaiju.
Yeah, I think it gave them it gave them intel, let them know what
Right.
He had like
And
the
I
most
like-
character continuation from the first movie in like a whole thing.
The most what, Darren?
most character.
The most
Continuation.
character what?
Yeah,
Continuation.
Sure.
that's what
Okay.
But I like that because you're like, yeah, no, that would fuck with you. If you're gonna fucking drift with a friggin' monster from another dimension, that's gonna have some negative side effects.
Yeah.
And I dig that. And then I like that being I don't know. Those are the things where I'm going to give the movie credit as far as like, I think it was cool. The plotting was cool. If I saw this written out on a piece of paper, it's pretty tight. That
Yeah, I agree.
he gets roped back in, he shows up, they're just there to like do this opening of, hey, they're going to do a big pitch on the AI.
Right.
They're attacked, which speeds up the AI.
Mathematically, it's works.
Also-
I think.
also just
it
as-
works on paper 100%.
Having a villain that can talk was good because they
Sure,
didn't have
yeah.
that.
But I don't know if it is good.
Well, I mean,
in a way,
it's
because
something
it
more to
makes it
connect
much
to
more-
than monsters.
Well, but it makes it much more Power Rangers, where now it's like I think a big
That's kind of fun.
no a big value of monsters is why are they doing this? Like, what is even happening? Why?
Or it's just more scary. It's
yeah,
just
and
sort of
it's
like
just
We'd
to be
already like sort of
completely in the
tapped into
dark
these
about
smart
objectives.
things controlling them. I don't know. I think it
Yeah,
opens
sort
the
of,
door
but
to some things.
Again, we don't know what their objective is. Was my
Oh,
point.
now
which
now
makes
we
it,
know
like-
it's Mount Fuji because we
I'm
retconned
still
that
trying-
one.
right.
It's like why'd they land
yeah,
in
but-
America so they could
Right.
get to Mount Fuji?
yeah, duh.
It's like, well, I think they were maybe going for any volcano, and it was just by the grace of God that they didn't make it.
I think it
That's
was
why
by
I
the
said
grace
that
of
this
retconning.
does feel like the YA novel version or like the TV show version, where it like kind of is changing key details to fit its own narrative now.
I guess like it holds up if you really are gonna like shine a light on it. I think it all tracks, but like,
But as a sequel, I don't think it tracks. But I guess that goes back to what you were saying.
I am also. This is at this point I haven't seen that first.
And I
movie.
didn't even like the first movie, and I just think it's funny to watch a movie to prefer it and then to say that it fails as a sequel.
For the record,
That
I
is
didn't say
weird.
this,
But
but I
that
liked
is
the
the
first
position
one.
that I'm holding.
It's almost as if you can't be pleased, no matter what.
No, because like I think that
I know what
if
you're
you were really into the first one and you're coming back for more, I think some of the key, the loving details that Del Toro puts into the first movie are missing. I think that they'll be sorely missed by a lot of people.
Yeah, I
But
don't know,
for me,
man.
who thinks that the first one was kind of just like a shitty, lazy, sloppily written love letter to robot whatever.
Yeah, I
Question
didn't
mark.
see his loving details in that first one, and I think that I am not usually this person. I don't like being this person, but I do
We
think
don't
there's
like
a
you
little.
being this person either.
Thanks, Darren. There's a little bit of that thing of people a little bit on the heels of his Oscar, maybe rewriting everything he's ever touched a little bit, and I'm seeing more than one place online people being like Pacific Rim 2 suffers without Del Toro's guidance, and I'm like,
not necessarily that.
I just meant
I'm
that.
agreeing with you.
But
is what I'm saying.
it's not what you were. Yeah, that's not what you were saying.
No. What I'm saying is like, I think that there are. I don't think that it's any better because I think the first one's a bad movie, right? So I don't think that the second one suffers without Del Toro because Del Toro was what made the bad first movie in the first place. But what I'm saying is like that if you liked the first one,
Right.
that there's the shit that you liked about the first one, I think you will find lacking about this one. Because I'm on board with what you're
Interesting.
saying, where
Well-
it's like this movie suffers without Del Toro. It's like no.
On
not
that point, I
necessarily.
might have liked the first one better
Right.
than the second one. I'm a little on the fence because I liked the first one, and then I sort of liked this one towards the beginning, and then it sort of lost me at points, partly because they didn't do the Boyega Amara thing quite right. Like if they'd cut out the other kids, they should have just had her be like the one kid, and then had it be weird that he had to be her partner towards the end because Scott Eastwood died tragically as soon as he came on screen. And then that would have fixed everything.
I was I'm not joking, man. I crossed my finger. You know, there's like the part where one of the Jaegers like falls over when they're being attacked by the drones, and he almost gets crushed.
Right. Like
I was supposed to go like, thank God, but I went fuck.
so many times in this
we were
movie,
so
someone
close.
falls over to dodge something by like 2 inches. And it's like,
I know.
No,
really?
yeah, because that means you're not thinking about the characters, you're thinking about the structure of the movie.
Yeah,
which is
I was-
never like a good.
Well, because it was already a misstep. I was already like, I don't care about them and the Jaeger together. I don't care. I don't
Hey.
care what their relationship was.
Yeah,
I do want to talk about Amani for just 1 second because so they introduced this character. She's like this young blonde white girl. And she's like, my name is Amara Namani.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it though? I feel like something. I feel like something weird happened with the casting here because this girl's name is literally Kaylee Spaney, with like her last name is Spaeny.
But Tim,
I
it's
think
okay
having
because
multiple-
they made the other kids not white.
Well, having multiple vowels in a row is just like a key indicator that you are a white person. Like
I do like-
Kaylee.
I do like that they killed the one kid, the only brown skinned kid,
Yeah.
like early
Oh,
on in
that's
the
who it
fight,
was?
and then they all forget.
Yeah.
Because they
They're
said the
all like
person's
at-
name, and I was like, oh, which kid was that? I don't remember their names.
It was the
The kid
yeah,
about the boobs.
it was the boob kid.
Okay, I was
I
just...
but again, you could see on paper, like, oh, one of these kids has to bite it. Like,
Right.
you know,
I
we
get
need
it.
to add some kind of dramatic
And
tension.
no one
but it
felt
doesn't
anything.
really. That's what I mean. Like mathematically, it works out, but then like the follow through is poor.
But there's extra pieces. I see what you're saying. Because even the kid, like when they were starting to have her be bullied by the friggin' Russian girl, like
right. That never
I don't
quite
care,
gets
man.
resolved,
Like, I just
Again,
right?
because they split their focus. If they'd committed to that instead of trying to set up something with Boyega and not doing that also.
right. I agree. Yeah. It's a weird movie. I think review wise, I think it's like where it belongs. But if I don't know, I would be more. I mean this truly. I'm more likely to put this one if I was ever gonna watch one of these again. I would more likely put this one on than the other one.
Sure, I agree. Yeah, the fights are just more interesting.
Yeah, I found the fights cool. I thought
A lot of double swords. Like they had those thin swords they brought in later, and they got the whips.
yeah.
And then when they fused together into one big sword, I was like, "That's
Oh
that
yeah,
shit."
no, that's what I was waiting for.
I liked where you literally watch these people run to one of the safe pods or whatever
Yeah.
in
And they
Japan.
get stomped.
yeah, in Japan, and they like a bunch of people like don't make it in, and it looked like there was a lot of room. So the people who closed the door were just being shitty.
Yeah.
And then these people get crushed and they're all dying and they're running for their lives. And then someone's like, okay, all of the civilians are safe now, so start punching.
Someone who made this movie had a lot to say about elevator like politeness. I'm just like, this is.
Yeah.
It was fucking brutal because it wasn't that long after I watched, like, you see all these people running for their lives and screaming, and then a couple cuts later, they're saying everyone's safe.
There's a lot of strategic camera with the CGI moments, like, because I was watching the crowd most of the time just for fun. That's what I like to do.
I like to see the people die.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. You never quite see anybody get smooshed.
I was annoyed, except for her family.
Yeah. No, but even still, like,
it was brutal.
But, you know, that was
it
an
was
important
because
comedic
it's because they
moment.
go doom at the end because that's the foot hitting the ocean floor, and you know that they're fucking.
You know what?
smooshed.
That's just one of those things too. Directorially, I try not to poke too much into these things because there's not a right and wrong way. But I think there was maybe a more that wouldn't have read as funny. It's the same as showing Leia like glide through the debris from that angle made it silly, but there was probably a way you could do that where it wasn't insane.
It was like the stiffness of her body that
it was
did
the
for
stiffness and the pan, the really gentle pan was weird. And in this, like with the family getting crushed, don't show us that side of it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
just
show
show
us
us
from
the
her
girl.
me. That was
yeah,
the comedy angle for sure.
because it's always funny when anybody gets hit by something abruptly.
It
That's
was like
why,
a Monty
and
Python shot.
I was the only one laughing when that happened in the theater. And
'Cause
I
it
got
was-
one other guy to laugh.
It
with me.
was because it was locked off. It was a full on straight on the family, and then when the foot landed, it just pushed them off screen. Like
Yep.
that was a joke.
They were just gone.
When she missed the jump later in the movie, everyone in the theater laughed.
Yeah.
I also didn't understand, like, wouldn't the dad have run across, like, jumped over
Yeah.
and grabbed
Well,
her?
he wasn't a good dad. That's why he died.
No, he's lazy. He's like,
like,
oh,
honey,
it makes more sense for you to jump to me instead of me.
You
two
jump.
trips. That would be 2 trips. That doesn't make any sense. You just come to me.
Daddy, I'm scared. Me too. Okay, just fucking get over here. Anyway,
See, a good dad would just leave with the rest of his family.
Like,
He only
I've got
lost
most
that-
of them right here. We can make
Yeah,
another.
it's either 1/4 or 2 or 3/4.
we got all the parts to make another kid.
Yep.
All right, we're doing great.
Oh, good. She wasn't my favorite.
In a lot of ways, like the world got worse after the 1800s. Because when people thought of kids like that, I think everything was way
Right.
not better.
You know, back then you could have
What do you-
12
where are you
kids
going?
and
Yeah,
keep
no,
the
no.
2 best ones.
Yeah,
Let's
I know.
think.
I guess things were pretty bad back
Yeah, what was
then.
cracking around America? And
Cracking? Interesting. Snip.
yeah, not happening.
Okay.
I think we're too
do we have any
aware.
final thoughts?
Anyway,
Are we
We
on
are,
final
but-
thoughts?
but I
So
think
we
because it's
don't go
making
for it.
things come up more often than they ever would.
No, I don't think so.
Usually.
Because I think a lot of times, most of our criticisms are never about like race or gender. I think it's just only when they are. That's when we notice and go like,
Sure.
well, we shouldn't be. I think it's
Whatever.
normal to make those kind of criticisms and to recognize them as white people is probably the best thing to do. It's like, I mean, we don't have to mock it. But we just have to go like,
I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, what?
I'm talking about like when you whatever.
Snip.
Yeah.
Good final thoughts. All right.
I'm saying doing racist jokes is your job as a white person.
Right. That's
Oh,
what I
yeah,
thought you were
that
saying.
makes sense.
Jesus
Could've just said
Christ.
that.
Hey, do we have any final thoughts about the picture?
Pacific Ram.
Yeah. The Passion of the Rim.
Yeah, do we have final thought? I don't know. I think I've said it. I like it more.
I don't know.
I like it more than the first one. Jafar.
Good. Yeah, I like it more than the first one too.
But it's still a clunky old chunky donkey, and I'm not.
I'm not interested to go back to the Pacific Room.
Me neither.
Pacific Room.
Not interested.
With Johnny was.
The stinger. We talk about the stinger for a second. The like. That's fine, because then next time we're going into the Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Like, fine.
Yeah, they're like, hey,
We're
so
coming
next
after
movie,
you.
this is what we're doing. Just be ready.
Yeah. Which, you know what? Fine.
Hey, isn't that how they ended Independence Day 2?
Was it? I didn't see that one.
Independence Day
I didn't see
2 too as well.
We're not waiting for them to come again. We're gonna go to
We're gonna
them.
fucking go beat the shit out of you.
No, it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's so many things. This movie is one of those biggest culprits, and I wish I was making a list, but it's one of those ones where they say things so many times that I'm like, aren't we done with that line in film yet? I probably think I said this like 2 episodes
Seriously?
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, okay, well that was weird. Like, come
yeah.
on, we're done.
Dude, every interaction between John Boyega and Clint Eastwood's son about the female character.
I know
right,
that
where
made
it's
me
just like,
feel weird, man. The whole movie.
What's that about? And then he would just give a really dramatic look and go, keep your eyes to yourself,
Yeah.
Pentecost. Like, what is this
Eyes
bit?
forward,
Why are we doing this 4 times?
And another
Also,
thing
who
that
the
went
fuck
nowhere.
was she?
Yeah.
Who was that?
That was confusing.
I thought she'd
Shut
die
up.
or Scott Eastwood would die, and that would solve it.
Yeah, those are those little insidious symptoms of a larger perspective problem of who, I don't know if the same guy who directed it wrote it or whatever, but those are those things where it's like you do that when you're oblivious to like bigger problems in the movie.
Right.
Like I don't know how you ever look at that, especially now. The temperature now. It's not like they were shooting this fucking 5 years ago.
Right.
The temperature right now when they were shooting that, you really thought we were gonna that you were gonna just have the girl who pops in and out and gives them kisses on the cheek and is like, "Go get him, tiger." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come on,
a lot
That's
of
true.
weird misplaced humor that's like out of date.
No, yeah, I guess it is.
That-
It's not
the-
even like humor. It's almost
No.
just like, we need to have this.
Yeah,
Right,
well,
which is
tropes,
What is
whatever.
this?
Yeah.
What even is this? What does this add? And it's the fact that they did it and they swung for that bit like 2 or 3 times
Yes.
throughout the movie, and they're like, oh well, we can't have this. You know, we did it the first time. We need to have it in 3s. It's what this
when
is
you
not
can
an
you can feel
interesting
them do
bit.
that thing too, where it's like, but she helped them glue the sword back on.
Yeah.
Like she put the thing back together, so she did something.
But that's Shao, right? That's the
Yeah,
No,
but the other
no.
girl's on the
Oh, you're
radio
right,
or
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, she's the
Yeah.
mechanic. Yeah. That was her whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
There should have been more combined characters overall, probably.
Oh God, yes.
No, there literally should have been combined characters at the end of this movie when they fused.
yeah, they were like, ha.
no, when
Yeah,
they
like,
fused
when
the
the alien
when they fused
merged
the
together, they should have
monsters,
merged
and
the
I was like,
humans
oh,
together.
they're gonna fuse the Jaegers, and they didn't. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
I feel that. I wasn't necessarily expecting it, but I feel.
But like, if you're gonna go
Yeah.
next level with this Pacific Rim shit and just go like fully Hollywood ass movie,
Yeah, it's like an easy
Fuse
idea
the
to
damn
throw in that everybody
robots.
would like.
give them a beam, like a beam sword whip.
Wasn't
hammer.
it funny how that like the movie did this thing
Nope,
where
just-
they created time restrictions for themselves that they didn't need to do? Like the movie made it a problem for the people, but then they fixed it. Like it just all it did was make
Yeah,
things
the
seem
rocket
unrealistic.
thing was weirdly shoved in.
The rocket thing was weird, where they were like, even the beginning, where they were like, we need these drones up in 48 hours. It's like, why? Why?
Yeah.
What difference in the movie would it have made if you
Yeah.
said they needed it up in 3 months or
Because
whatever?
like we're not
Like,
tracking the timeline.
Yeah.
Don't mention time.
because if you tell me it's 48 hours and then you have an army of robots that are fully automated and ready to ship out, I'm gonna be like, why? That's
Yeah.
fucking stupid.
Yeah,
Same
no
thing
difference.
with when they were like, once they were attacked by the drones, and then they were like, well, we have a day to all 6 of us fix these giant robots with new gear and cool weapons.
And how
Remember that
how is
robot?
putting these rockets on the things faster to get
Yeah.
them there? Like, how
Because
long
they-
could that have taken?
That was another one of those weird ones where they set up this problem for themselves, where they're like, yeah, the way they move the Jaegers in are like, what was it, like helicopters or some shit that
Something.
carry them.
Yeah.
It was like, why not just open the movie and we're done with that? We just
Right.
already, that's not a thing
Kind of
anymore.
weird. So, and then the other thing I feel, so when they talk about this being a love letter to robots and to mecha, and I think it's missing the key part of any good mecha story, which is the mid-season upgrade. There needs what needed to happen in this was Gypsy Danger needed to get wrecked by
Yeah.
Obsidian Fury or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, dope
and then
names,
comes
great names.
back
Good point.
stronger as an upgraded
As-
mech instead of just a fixed one.
What's it,
And
Gypsy
gives you as
Avenger?
the audience. Yeah, it just gives you
Obsidian
as the
Avenger,
audience just like a
yeah.
hype moment, and it's just oh,
Yeah.
here's this thing again.
And here's the
That's a
thing, I
missed
know that
opportunity.
this is us veering into the territory that in mission statement we don't like to do with beef. I understand that we're like literally picking apart, like that was stupid and blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
it's again, we are playing by the
These
rules.
are reasonable beefs. I feel
These are reasonable beefs because again,
Very
we're still playing
reasonable.
by what this movie's up to. The movie's there's no secret that this is about
Giant
the story
robots.
of these robots and these aliens, and it just being like, well, this would be cool, and if we mix this with that, so it's like, I think this is fair, right?
You gotta go
To
ham
be
with
like-
it.
Yeah. What did you say?
Go ham with it. Gotta go ham with it.
Nah, I don't eat ham anymore.
Okay. Go all the way with it. If you're gonna do giant robots, you just gotta go crazy.
Yeah. Like go ham. I know. Just say that.
China.
I'm sorry, Darren.
I'm sorry, I thought you had 2 M's on that ham. I thought you were
Like John.
Yeah,
I mean,
You
that
gotta
still
go
makes
ham.
sense. You should have gotten that right away.
where you look sad in a leather office and smoke cigarettes. Got to go ham on
And
it.
with like, picture this:
I think that could have added a lot to
Giant
this
robot.
movie.
big robot,
Gundams.
Gundams, but American.
He could have
I
sold
would
the drones
pay John
thing.
Hamm.
You would pay John Hamm
to talk about Gundams, just like to look at me and like to like read.
Just talk about anime.
Just to read a page from the Gundam wiki, like about the specific mechanics of like the fucking RX-78.
Have you guys seen The Big Short?
Is that a Gundam?
Just the Margot Robbie scene in the tub, but with John Hamm and mechas.
Oh man.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
I know what you mean. The little middle sequence, like where they're explaining financials and shit.
No, just the Joker scene from.
What?
You want to know how I got these Gundams? I don't know why I'm doing this to
Want
myself.
to know how I got these cards? Limited edition, only printed once.
There's more.
This is
there.
stupid.
We should do more Joker jokes. It's been 10 years.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
That's wild.
It's scary. I don't like it.
All right, well, that's the final thoughts. We're going to do predictive text phone review.
Did everyone get their finals in?
Yeah, I think so.
Basically, just they should commit to one thing or the other with the kids or the connection with Boyega. That's my main thing.
Sure. I agree.
Okay.
Character sucked. Mech fights were okay.
All right.
We're going to play predictive text movie review. This is where we enter the name of the film, which is Pacific Rim Uprising, not Pacific Rim 2 Uprising, which I was quite surprised by.
Tim, are you typing yours to me too?
I am.
Because I was just starting to type mine to you.
Yeah, and then the dots started popping up. Predictive text movie review. I cannot speak the name, so sorry. We type in the name Pacific Rim Uprising, and then using the 3-word selection from your phone's predictive text, you build a review of the film. Oh my god.
Mine takes a bit of a turn at the end.
This one's really good. Dom, start it off. What is yours?
Mine is going on and on. Hold on.
Oh god.
This is fucking stupid. Mine really didn't work out.
Oh god. Okay, what's yours?
Pacific Rim Uprising has a way of getting me out of this game for the next few weeks, but it's still a fun and entertaining place for us to play with y'all wild.
Y'all wild, is that it?
Yeah.
To play with.
Y'all wild. I guess that's how I should.
Darren, what's yours?
So you'll notice that mine takes a very sharp turn at the end, which directly relates to the game I'm working on.
Just read it.
Pacific Rim Uprising
Oh,
is
God.
not enough for me, but it was just the first thing that happened in my life that was basically a rat king.
Yeah. No, it's true.
I wish more of them ended with Rat King. More of these predictions.
I was really glad it came up because
Mine-
it was just giving me propositions and stuff.
Mine might be the most accurate one that I've ever done. Pacific Rim Uprising is the only thing I can think of right now that I have the time and effort to make sure that you are not going to see it tonight.
Well,
So I just put in an hour's worth of time and effort
Damn.
to make sure that you don't see it tonight.
All right.
It's fine.
Three-headed.
Oh yeah, we'll do a 3-headed critic on Pacific Rim Uprising. The way this works is that one person starts it off, and they say one word, and it goes in a complete circle until we have a full thought about the movie. So Darren, it's gonna go Darren, Dom, me, you. Okay, you ready to kick it off?
super ready.
Woof. I've been talking to you for 45 minutes, and I already have my accent back. Okay,
This
go.
Rim.
Is
very
Pacific.
so
we
Happened.
to
watch
Our.
only
rim
Become.
Pacific
but
What?
Hold on, wait. I need to recap.
Okay. I think we should reset.
This rim.
We'll restart. We'll start with Dom, Darren, me, Dom.
This happens a lot, by the way, Darren.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that, but a lot of these.
I could guess.
Mm-hmm.
Me, right?
Yeah.
At
The
Movies.
you
half
To
choose
a
film.
to
watch
When
Pacific
rim
Uprising
is
in
theaters.
because
it
Is
okay.
what?
When you at the movies,
All
you
right,
need to
round
pick
three,
a
final
movie
one.
to watch.
Final one. Me, Darren, Dom, me. Okay.
sure
I'm
that
gonna
that
start
will
off.
fix it.
There
Was
A
Pacific
rim
that
opened
up.
my
heart.
That's good. That's enough.
come on.
Sure.
There was a Pacific Rim that opened up my
More
heart.
time was just more time for us to make mistakes, just like the movie.
Sure. Oh damn, Darren.
One more.
Roasted. Okay. Darren, Dom, me, Darren.
Pacific
Rim
Was
definitely
happening
when
I
was
there
watching
Pacific
Rim.
Uprising.
Yep.
Pacific Rim
Sure.
was definitely happening when I was there watching Pacific Rim. I'm sorry.
There
I
you
think
go.
we can all agree that's what happened.
Yeah, sure.
That's
Sure,
true.
I
It
think
is.
it's
It's
an
pretty.
accurate one. That's all right.
All right. Well,
You literally just did the slanty face emoji where like your mouth does like a full angle. Just like unhappy with that. Whatever. They happen.
well,
Thank you so much, Darren Urmey, for joining us. Darren Urmey, where can they find you for Greatest Snake?
If you just search Greatest Snake on Facebook, or, I mean, it'll be on Kickstarter by the time this goes up. Just search it there. The Greatest Snake. It's a card game. Give me your money. Give me all your money. Make me rich.
it's good. The art is great.
Yeah, I have a prototype copy sitting next to me right now. One of 5 copies that exists. 2.
8.
Tell me
I couldn't remember. I couldn't help but notice your voice lowered into that
how many.
like sexually interested collector.
Oh, dude, you don't
I need to know how
understand.
rare
Something
it
is
is.
limited.
Gotta rip up the other
Believe,
copies.
Dom was shuffling the cards.
I know
and
everyone
He,
yelled at me.
yeah, he did it at like the no, this was like a good moment for me because so you're shuffling these cards, which it's a trading card game, and he's shuffling them like playing cards, you know, kind of like doing
Yeah.
like the fold thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, dude, there's only like 4 copies of that in existence.
Oh, yeah, I cringe
You can't
anytime
ruin the
someone
cards
shuffles
like
it
that.
that's not me.
And Dom looks around the room, like there's like a bunch of people in the room. He goes, "What the hell? Like, what's wrong with it?" And everyone's like, "Actually, Dom."
Yeah,
no."
literally
And
everyone
then-
took the moment to be like, yeah, I would never shuffle my like Yu-Gi-Oh cards that way. Yeah, you should probably do like this kind of shuffle for cards like this. And I was like, man, blow me.
Dom, I give you official permission to shuffle however you want.
No, it's
I didn't
mine
even,
now.
Here's the thing is I don't shuffle when I shuffle that way. I'm also not like bad at it, and I wasn't doing it like bent totally in half violently.
Could you
So I was
demonstrate
just like,
what that would look like?
No. These are mine. I was
Also,
one of
the art was done by friend of the podcast, Max Carpston.
yeah,
Max. He's actually been on the podcast a couple
yeah.
times.
What do we call them? Friend of the beef?
Yeah.
Deep in the
friend
beef?
of beef acolyte.
Yeah, beefcake.
Beef eaters.
Beef boy.
Beef McHard cheese. Dude, today was a weird one.
It was fine.
Yeah, I think so too. Pacific Rim. I didn't want to be in this movie. I think like 20 minutes into the movie, I was like, I don't.
What is that noise?
It-
Who's slamming something?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
Tim.
I'm playing with the
Oh,
games.
okay.
Fucking your cards up. He's fucking the cards up.
Oh wait. If you like the podcast, please go to www.patreon.com/reasonablebeef. Give what you can. $1 gives you access to bonus beef, which I think we had to record today.
Okay.
Okay. Darren, thanks for being on.
Thanks for
Dare Bear.
having me, buds.
Always good. Do you want to do the bonus?
Yeah.
It's just like a chatty episode.
It doesn't. Yeah, we're just
Oh,
fucking
if
start
you just
whatever we
like
want to talk
keep
about.
going with it, that's how it works. I don't know. I don't know the process.
No, we'll take like 2-second break. We gotta end this one, and then we'll pick it back up. In a
Yeah,
second.
I'm gonna go pee.
Yeah, and I need to get a drink of water, and then we'll do like another about an hour of recording.
An hour?
However long we feel like recording for, and we'll probably talk about Dragon Ball Z more.
Yeah,
Jerry
probably.
Lewis,
Yeah.
the actor. Oh wait, no, Ronald Reagan. I forgot the joke.
Tom, you're mixing it up.
He does that later. I suppose. Jerry Lewis. Who's the actor? Ronald Reagan.
In a voice like
You know that new sound you looking for? Ronald Reagan. Oh fuck.
And cut.
All
All right, see you boys in a few minutes.
right. See you in a second.
Are we like hanging up, or are we
I-
just gonna
uh,
like?
We'll just keep.
Oh, okay. The way you said it, I thought. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll hang up and
we'll call- we'll call you
right back.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Then-
Yeah, I don't understand him. He's such an asshole, right?
Yeah.
No, that one was good. Dude. That was a tight one. Darren was good too. He actually like understood how to just wedge his way in and say things. So I feel like sometimes when we do the remote ones, no one knows exactly how to like angle themselves in.
It is kind of tough to do.
We definitely should prioritize.
Can you record Coward Hour? We're probably just gonna
Robert's about to get here.
Yes.
Well, we're about to do a beef bonus.
Oh, you're gonna do a bonus beef then?
Yeah, I told Brendan.
What's next week?
We might be doing Coward Hour after I shoot this thing.
Okay. When would that be?
What's the thing?
Like,
Well, she wanted to maybe do Unsane, the Soderbergh movie.
What time
Or
is
is it
That's
gonna be
fine.
maybe like burnt?
Yeah, because it's probably gonna be like
No.
an hour or so, and then I'll just be set. So
Oh, we have something. Isn't Ready Player One next week?
So that's
Oh, it is.
I don't know if we have anyone booked.
We don't. I told Brandon that it would be.
Josh Froninger,
Why?
because he'd be great for it.
Why?
Because he's an author and his opinions on Ready Player One are very funny.
We need to get someone in who also like, because I feel like I'm gonna be a force for good in it.
Yeah, dude.
You know what?
I think Josh Froninger, he would argue with you in a way that
Josh
would not make you
Froninger
hate him.
isn't so fucking reasonable, and he's so intelligent. He's like an older
Don't
guy.
get me wrong. I understand all that shit. I think I'm just
you know,
like,
that's a great idea, actually.
I'm also fully preparing that I'm gonna see it and be mad at it, like,
I saw an
because I
interview.
don't like it.
I saw an interview with Spielberg